Hey guys, Keys here, and I want to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still and this continuing this explosive move up, and I haven't talked about Bitcoin actually in like a week or two, but I've been following it every day. I was mainly just because I wanted to see what was going to happen with Bitcoin and how it was going to play out, and kind of understand and take a step back and understand the markets a little bit better. But last time, let's just talk about what I said last time, which was the Wyckoff distribution pattern that could potentially be playing out right now. And so you can see that we could potentially be in a Wyckoff distribution where we have, there's two ways it can actually play out. The first way would be if this right side actually put in a lower high and we came back down, right? And we broke down something like this. But the second way would actually be what we're playing out now, where we break the range high on the right side and then we come back down and it's like it's over, right? And if this plays out, Bitcoin probably is going to go pretty low because if it actually does, if this is a distribution phase, they lead to pretty big sell-offs. And the reason why I talk about Wyckoff distribution and why we should just potentially be looking out for this and prepared for something like this to happen is actually because Bitcoin did play out Wyckoff in 2021 perfectly. This was a perfect Wyckoff distribution in this area. And this happened at its all-time high. At the time, Bitcoin's all-time high was 65K right here. And it played out a Wyckoff distribution pattern. And so I don't think there's I don't see any reason why we should just write off a potential Wyckoff distribution happening now. So that's why I talk about it. I don't know if it's going to play out, but just to be aware of like what could potentially happen. But even if it doesn't play out, 32K I still think is gonna be retested eventually. It might take a while. It might take months. Like it might take a long time to come back down if we even do. But I still think we will right now. It was the psychological level all year we couldn't break in 2023. We couldn't break above it after the lunar collapse, and then this is where we actually found huge support in the bull market of 2021, right? We were coming down to this level and we couldn't break below it really. We bounced off a bit hard and then we ended up going to 69K. So I think 32K will get retested. Also, this range was like 250 days or something, or 220, and a long range like this should at least get back tested, at least for validation, and then we can go up. So that's why I think 32K will get hit regardless of Wyckoff or not. But I'm looking at 32K, and if we do come back down here, I'm probably gonna buy some Bitcoin, honestly, at that level. And okay, so why are we even going up? And I think I understand a little bit more about Bitcoin now. And you gotta realize, like, I've been watching Bitcoin every day since I got into the markets in 2021. So basically, like this entire time, almost every day I've been looking at Bitcoin. And it took me until I don't even really know what day in 2023, but there was just like a time in 2023 where I just started understanding the markets a little bit better, and understanding Bitcoin a little bit better. And I think it's because I've been staring at the markets every day for like over 2 years. And I try to tell my family to do it all the time, and nobody listens to me. But yeah, after like staring at it every day, that's why I think after Bitcoin broke above 32K, I and during this like sideways kind of upwards consolidation, I knew Bitcoin was gonna come up, like gonna break upwards, and I ended up actually taking a long on Veracity a few days, like a week or two, like actually a few days ago. It was on one of these candles because I was like I just understood that Bitcoin did not want to go down anymore, and yeah. So why are we even going down, or why are we going up? I didn't even answer that question. It's because, in my opinion, there are no sellers in the market. Like retail, like you and me. I don't know if you sold your Bitcoin, but I have not sold my Bitcoin. I really don't think most of us are selling our Bitcoin. If you like waited all this time in 2023 and like in the bear market of 2022 and everything, like you're definitely not selling your Bitcoin right now. Even if it is a buy the rumor, sell the news thing, like you're probably holding on to Bitcoin for it and like waiting for it to hit around like 100K. So there's majority of us are not selling. I think almost all of us retail wise are not selling. We have ETF rumors everywhere. The halving is only 5 months away. There are so many things about Bitcoin that is just making the price go up because there's just no one's selling, so there's only going to be buyers, and there's a lot of reasons that you would want Bitcoin right now, or at least there's a lot of narratives. Like I don't like you can't, for if I'm being completely honest, like you can't just listen to like what people say online and like the narratives that are supposed to drive Bitcoin. Like remember, like the narrative at 69K was that we're supposed to go to 100K. That didn't even happen, right? But I do think that narrative is important in driving price. So I think that is part of the reason why we're going up. And like I said, after understanding the market, I just want to talk about this because I think this is going to be so important in the bull market, because right now, everything we do right now is kind of like in preparation for the bull market, for when it actually happens. Because like I said, I don't even think this is going to sustain for, it could go to like 50K, but I think eventually we will get a pullback that's pretty big. But like I said, this is all in preparation for the bull market. So like I said, I started understanding that there was no one going to sell Bitcoin in this area. And when Bitcoin makes a huge move like this and then just goes sideways, even if it's like sideways up, sideways, like sideways actually, or like sideways down, regardless of which way, if it's just like kind of holding, altcoins can start moving after that, right? So Bitcoin got its move up, and then we saw Solana actually has been moving really quickly too, and it actually moved, it broke out of its range. So let's zoom out a little bit so we can see Solana was in this like ascending triangle that it ended up breaking out of October 23rd. That was the same day that Bitcoin made its move up, right? I think it was October 23rd. Yeah, so the same day as Bitcoin. So Solana actually moved the same day as Bitcoin. But let's take actually ADA. Maybe ADA might be a better example. So ADA ended up breaking out of this. Zoom out a little bit to get a little bit more perspective. But we were basically in this resistance range since April of 2023, mid-April. We hit it again in July of 2023, and then we ended up breaking out of it November 1st. So a week after Bitcoin moved, because Bitcoin moved on the 23rd, so a week after Bitcoin broke out of 32K range, ADA then broke out of it, right? So it took a week. Then I saw Solana was breaking out, I saw ADA was breaking out, and then I've been looking at Veracity for a while. You guys might have seen my Veracity video I posted last time. But I was like, all these coins are breaking out of their pair. Bitcoin is not going to go down because like the no sellers, in my opinion, like ETF news and everything, that's like the narrative and everything. So I understood that Bitcoin didn't want to go down. The altcoins, the big altcoins like ADA and Solana are like big altcoins. They're like, I think they're like 20 billion. So the mid caps, I guess you could say. And then Veracity is like a small cap, right? It's like, I don't know what it's at right now, but it's definitely pretty small. And I was like, okay, if everything's breaking out, then I think Veracity will break out of its resistance that it's been holding. So we actually put this resistance in back in February of 23, and then we hit it again in the beginning of October. And I just was like, I think Veracity is going to end up breaking out of its range too, because every coin seems to be breaking out of it. And so I ended up longing. Well, I've been accumulating Veracity. Like there's a difference. Like I have a bag of Veracity that I'm just going to constantly accumulate, and I'm not selling until we hit like my targets. But I decided to actually trade Veracity. I'm trading on BingX. When I take trades, I do it on BingX because it has like what's it called, derivatives, and basically you can leverage. Veracity actually doesn't have leverage on BingX, which I was like pretty upset because I would have leveraged it, but I ended up taking a Veracity trade here because, like I said, all those reasons, the altcoins breaking out, and I understood Bitcoin. And so far it's worked out. I mean, I don't know. My target for this breakout range is actually like around the top of here, which is over 1 cent, like 1.1 cent. That's kind of what I'm targeting right now. But the reason I'm talking about this is because like I was only able to take that trade and put together the fact that Solana's breaking out, ADA's breaking out, and now Veracity. But in that specific order, you also have to realize that the order matters in this scenario. Like Bitcoin moved first. Solana just moved the same day because it's been so strong the past like month and a half. ADA took a week after Bitcoin broke out to break out of it. Veracity took like 2 weeks because Veracity just broke out literally like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. but I just like put in the long like a couple days ago, like a week ago, because I had a feeling it was going to do this. But it was all because I understood how Bitcoin was gonna move, and then the fact that if Bitcoin can start holding, or at least go like anywhere, it could go up or down, then it'll let all these other altcoins move. And I just want to, I want you guys to understand that as well. And I'm still getting better at it too. Like I'm no way am I like really good at this. I like I said, sometime in 2023, I just started to get a better sense of the markets. Like I said, it's probably because I looked at the markets every day for over 2 years. But yeah, so anyways, guys, back to just talking about Bitcoin. Okay, I just said a lot of like bullish things, and I really don't know how high this could go. This Bitcoin can honestly go as high as it wants to go. I will say this, I don't know if this is an actual like chart analysis thing that people do, or if this is something that I just noticed by looking at the charts for so long, but at least the Bitcoin chart for Bitcoin, whenever we print out these really big bullish green candles where there's no wick on the bottom, there's no tail, right? This is like there's literally no tail on the bottom, but the candle is huge, but then it gets like sold off, so there's a huge wick on the top, and this is on the daily or the weekly. I never really do this on the 4 hourly. It probably will work on 4 hourly, maybe the 1 hour too, but I really only do this on the daily or weekly. Whenever you get a candle like this, Bitcoin does tend to go in that direction. So because we got this candle, it actually closed now. It just closed like 15 minutes ago. I actually will, even if maybe we start getting even if we get a pullback a little bit, it takes us a few days or a week or two, I do think we will eventually hit this level again and either close at it or above it, or just completely take it out. And there's so many examples. You can actually see the first example is right here. This was October 23rd when Bitcoin first broke out at 32. You can see this candle is huge. There's no tail. There's a wick on the top. It only took us 2 days to really close above it, right? And now we're like way above it. Right here, we already see potentially three examples if this one plays out, but 2 examples in like the past month. This was in October 16th. And we got a huge wick, no tail, wick on the top, green candle. Took us a little bit of time, took us like a week, but we like exploded above it. And this happens in both ways, up or down, but if it's a red candle, it has to be the opposite, right? So you don't want any like wick on the top, but you only want a huge wick on the bottom. So in this case we did, and it took us like a month or two, or like about a month actually. Yeah, just about a month, and then we closed right at it. This is actually lower. We ended up closing lower than it. And I mean, you can do this as many times as you want. You can always find it. Even right here, huge wick, right? Took it out. Even this wick ended up getting closed at it eventually. So I have no idea if that's an actual analysis, but I've been seeing this so many times, especially on the Bitcoin chart. And we actually did close the candle. It's officially closed. So I do think that we are going to continue going up. Even if maybe it takes us a few days, but you can see it usually doesn't take us that long to continue going that direction. So yeah, 38K, maybe we take it out. Maybe we hit it again one more time. But I do think that in the short term, we might be getting another push up. I think that Bitcoin can go as high as it wants, because there's no sellers. So I don't know where it's going to go, guys. I wish I could tell you so we could all make money and be rich, but I have no idea where it's going to go, because it's already exceeded my expectations. I didn't really think we were going to take out 32K, and we're way above it now. So who knows where it goes, but I will say that I do think that we will hit 38K again. And okay, that being said, guys, I do want to say like we are pretty like high up right now, and you have to also realize like how far can we go before we get some sort of a pullback, like significant pullback. I'm not talking about these tiny little daily candles that kind of pull us back. I'm talking like a big juicy red candle, right? Like something like this or like this. Because I think that we will get it. Like Bitcoin will always make that move. It just depends on how high are we and how low does it go, right? Right now I said like if we do get a huge candle like that, or like a week or like a month where like it's just feels like it's so bad. 32K is my level that I would probably long in, but who knows? We might even be at like 45 or like somewhere in the 40s before we get that huge candle down. Maybe it only takes us down to like 30 some. I don't know. I don't really know where we're going with Bitcoin right now, guys. I can't even give you. I cannot even say a level that we're going to. So let's just take a look at some indicators and call it. Yeah, it's 15 minutes. So these are the indicators that I usually look at when I talk about Bitcoin. There's nothing. This is like nothing crazy. Like I'm not looking at like any crazy indicators. So let's just take a look at the Ichimoku and the daily. Basically, you just want a green cloud and you want to be above it, and you don't want a red cloud and you don't want to be below it. And you can see this is the daily, how it's looked. 2022 was all red, right? 2023 has been basically all green. We had this brief period, and this is what I was saying. Like we also had a red cloud. We're getting perfectly rejected off of it. This was before the fake ETF news that they tweeted. We were below the bull market. I thought here was when we were going to complete the right side of this potential Wyckoff, right? And then we're going to break it and eventually go down. But the market's reversed and has not looked back since. But the Ichimoku, like we're way above it. I know this looks like ridiculous, like we're not even close to it, but it happens a lot. Like when we were here, like we weren't even close to it, right? It took us a while to end up hitting it. And we've used it already on the green candles, or the green cloud. We've used it twice this year as perfect support. So we're way above it. There's a lot of room to go down. I mean, the bottom of it right now is exactly at the top of this range, about 31. So that's where it's saying potentially we could go, but I think that this cloud doesn't really give us any indication, really, because it's really tiny still. So honestly, Ichimoku is not that helpful right now, but it probably will be eventually. I look at it on the weekly too, daily and weekly for Ichimoku. So let's take a look on the weekly real quick, see where we are. Yeah, I mean, we're making our way through it. The top of this cloud goes all the way up to 42.3. So the Ichimoku resistance says 42.3. Anywhere inside of it is just resistance. This is all resistance, basically, is what the cloud is saying. So the top is at 42.3, and you can actually see at one point we were grinding it down like perfectly, right? It looked like it was going to be perfect resistance, and now we're just in the middle of it. So it honestly looks pretty decent. I mean, it's a really thick cloud, so in order for it to turn green, because we want it to turn green, right? When it turns green, it's pretty good. But yeah, it looks like we got kind of a while. Bitcoin has to hold these prices for kind of a while for it to flip, it seems. And let's look at the SMAs. So the 50 and the 200 on the weekly. So yeah, on the weekly, we still are in a death cross. We got a death cross a while ago on the weekly. And it looks like we might be flipping for a golden cross. But this is the weekly, so it's going to take a couple weeks for this thing to move up, right? And I think the 200 and the 50 are, in my opinion, the best ones to look at. This is the weekly. It's going to change when we look at the daily. And let's take a look at the daily. Where is it? So the daily, we already got the golden cross. You know, we got the death cross here, but we flipped it really quickly. It only took us like a month to flip back to golden. And we're looking really good right now. And the reason why I love the daily 200 is because sometimes it's just so perfectly like perfect, if that even makes sense. Like when we fell in 2022, look how perfectly we got rejected off of it in March of 2022, and then we got the massive downward movement. And it was after we perfectly wicked to it. And then in 2021, when we got the huge rally and we got the huge sell-off, this was when the banks were collapsing. Like this was the banking crisis actually this is the move that Bitcoin made after the banking crisis. But like real banks in the US were like collapsing. And look how Bitcoin perfectly, I know it's slightly below, I'm just gonna say perfectly bounced off the 200 day simple moving average. And that's why I like it. Sometimes it's just so perfect. I really just like those 2 points especially, but you can even see how recently we've been using it pretty well too. Pretty good resistance here, almost pretty good support right here, and we bounced off of it. So we're way above it now. We definitely got the golden cross, and I think that's a pretty good sign. But that doesn't mean that, like, how do we know like Bitcoin isn't gonna just like kind of like, how do we know this isn't just gonna go like this, right? And then this kind of keeps going up, so we keep getting like a golden cross. Like maybe something like that. I'm just saying, like, we can't take a golden cross to the bank yet, but I do think like this is pretty bullish. You know, I think a lot of these indicators are really bullish. Another reason why I think Bitcoin can continue moving up. All these indicators, in my opinion, are pretty bullish. And then this is probably one of the most important ones, is the bull market support band. It's the 21 EMA and the 20 SMA. Yeah. And we're way above it again. So, like I said, back here I thought we were going down because we got rejected off of it twice, here and here, and I thought we were going to go down. Then we got the fake news. Boom. So, we're way above it. The bull market support band is actually at 29.5. So we're so far above it right now, but like we have been way above it multiple times. Right here, we're way above it. Right here, we're way above it. So this thing's gonna catch up pretty quick, at least in my opinion. Like it'll probably take a little bit of time, like maybe like a few weeks, but it looks like it's starting to come up pretty quick, right? Like the red one looks like this, the green one looks like it's coming up like this. So maybe even, you know, by December, like let's say Bitcoin gets a pullback into December, maybe we like bounce off of the bull market. Maybe it's like a double. Maybe it's like a bull market bounce and a 32K bounce, and then it's like the ultimate bounce. I don't know. But the indicators, in my opinion, are looking really bullish. So Bitcoin's, in my opinion, pretty good. Pretty good spot right now. And I think it actually could continue for a little bit longer at least. But we gotta be, if we do get the big pullback, we'll just see where we go at the big pullback. Because I think we will get a pullback at some point. Like we have to. There's no way we just go up forever. It just depends on where we are and how big it is, I guess. So that's really it, guys. I kind of just started rambling at the end. But those are my thoughts on Bitcoin right now and on the market in general. And if you guys don't look at Bitcoin on TradingView, I do suggest you guys look at it at least once a week. At least just start with that. I think honestly, you guys watching probably look at it a lot, so I don't think I need to tell you guys to look at it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think, where Bitcoin's gonna go. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.